Hello students, welcome to Ashish Polala classes. Today in the present lecture, I am going to discuss with you East India Company Act 1786 as well as East India Company Act 1793. Now let us start from the East India Company Act 1786. As this act had been passed in the year 1786, so that is why this act is also popular by the name the Act of 1786. Now the second question arises, why the British Parliament had to pass this present act? The answer to this question is that in the year 1786, Lord Cornwallis was appointed as the Governor General of Bengal, and he was also designated as Commander in Chief in India. He is known for having done many administrative and many judicial reforms in India. He has also reorganized the British Army at that time during his tenure. Before the acceptance of the post of Governor General of Bengal, he placed two demands to the British government. And what were those two demands which he made before the British government? He said that he should be given the power to override the decision of his council in special cases. Second demand which he made before the British government, that he should also become the commander in chief of the company's forces in India. Why he made these two demands? First of all, he made this demand in respect of overriding the decision of his council in special cases so that he can do his job in India as the Governor General of Bengal in a better way, as well as he should become the main commander in force of the company's forces. Accordingly, the Act of 1786 was enacted and both of his demands was accepted by the British government. After this act, in the year 1793, East India Company Act 1793 had been passed by the British government. This act is also known by the name Charter Act of 1793. The first purpose to pass this act to make it very clarify that the overriding power which was given by the Act of 1786 to Lord Cornwallis over his council was not limited to him, but it was extended to all the future governor generals as well as governors of presidencies town of Bombay and Madras. This act gave the Governor General of Bengal more powers and more control over the governors of subordinate presidencies of Bombay and Madras. In this way, we can say that by this act, the Governor General of Bengal was made more powerful in comparison to the governors of Bombay and Madras. This act extended the trade monopoly of the East India Company in India for a further period of 20 years. That means to say, for a further period of 20 years from the passing of this act, no other British company can came to India for the purpose of trade. That is, it extended the trade monopoly of East India Company in India for a further period of 20 years. This act also laid down a scheme that the members of the Board of Control, which was created by the Pitt India Act of 1784, as well as their staff member to be paid out of the Indian revenue after passing this act. This act also makes the provision for giving the amount to the British government, and what amount was to be given by this company to the British government. It says that after making all expenses of the company had to pay the British government a sum of rupees 5 lakh from the Indian revenue annually. So this act also created a burden on East India Company to send the British government a sum of rupees 5 lakh from the Indian revenue annually. This act also made the provision that senior company officials were barred from leaving India without permission. That is, it says that if the senior company officials want to leave India, then they can do so, but with permission. But if they leave the territory of India without taking any permission, then it would be considered as a resignation of that senior company official. So in this way, we are watching that this act created a code of conduct for the company's senior officials. This act gave the company the authority that the company can grant the license to the individuals as well as company employees so that they can carry on trade in India. And lastly, this act separated the revenue administration from the judicial functions of the company. And due to this, it leads to the disappearance of revenue courts in India. So students, this is something about the present lecture. Hope you understood what I had taught you. If you want to watch more videos of my channel, then subscribe my channel Ashish Pola Law Classes. And if you also want to get notes of my law lecture, then these notes are available at ashishpolalawclasses.blogspot.com. Thank you very much.